Hey, welcome to this segment. We are going to talk about supporting our family, our parents, our siblings. But on this particular segment of this video, we're going to talk about supporting our aging parents. Many of us are business owners or we are busy with our careers and we have teenage kids or adult children, and life can feel overwhelming. So, on this segment, because I like to support each of you in different areas of your life, so this time I'm going to talk to those of you who are adult children and have aging parents who are dealing with long term illness. It could be hypertension, it could be diabetes, it could be chronic kidney disease, it could be mobility issues, that they need walking aid to get around the house. So we're just going to have a little discussion around this, and I will try and answer as many questions as you may already have ahead of time so that you can make an informed decision. And if you've never met me before, you'll see on my videos on here, I talk about entrepreneurship, how to go through your own transformation, because many of us are recognizing that the cost of living will not change. It's actually going to get worse, if anything. So some of you are transitioning into being self-employed or starting your own business, or you just want to make an extra 1,000 or an extra 10,000, whatever that amount is. So I also talk about that. You will see me, I'm active on LinkedIn. I'm also active on TikTok. I'm on Instagram, on all the different platforms. You can find me there. I'm also on Facebook. And if you need any help and support with admin or learning digital marketing or how to monetize your skill set, that is something that I thoroughly enjoy doing because I come from a healthcare background. I used to work as a registered nurse for several years in different countries. I've worked in three different countries actually. So when I start talking about supporting your aging parents, it's something that I've also done in the community apart from working in the hospitals. So I want to help you and support you in that area of your life because I know life is busy. So anyway, let's get straight into it. I'm going to start with a story. Imagine this young lady in her 90s. Yes, a young lady in her 90s. She's been independent, she's been working really hard, but she's got to a stage in her life where she realizes she can't remember what she's doing. She can't remember if she locked the door at night. She can't remember if she saw her children today, if they came to visit or she spoke to them on the phone. So she's having some memory loss. And you can imagine she's been independent, she's managed her own life, she's been raising her kids, and she's also a widow. She lives by herself, but she's fairly independent. She really likes to manage things by herself. She loves reading, she loves going out and about. But all these things that are now happening to her that she notices, she tries to brush it off like, oh, maybe it's not a big deal. Then her children, who keep coming on a regular basis, realize this is getting worse and they have to do something about it. Here is a scenario, right? And you may find yourself in these scenarios I'm going to talk about. You notice there's a change in your parents. And depending on your relationship dynamics, I'm currently based in the United Kingdom. So I want you to understand that I've worked in the hospitals and in the community, and I've seen so many different types of family dynamics. Some quite challenging and some easy to navigate. Because when your parents are going through all these changes, it becomes a complex transition for everyone involved. So I bring a lot of compassion. I want you to understand that I know what that feels like. We put aside our businesses and our careers, and for this segment, for this moment, we're just going to think about our parents. So going back to the young lady in her 90s, eventually, as our children are observing and they are having the discussions with their mom, they try to approach the subject. We think you may need some extra help, and we are so busy and we're not sure what to do. What I tell you what, maybe come and stay with us for a little bit so we can keep an eye on you, so you can just have a change of scene, just a change of scenario, and then just see how you get on. The good thing is, this young lady has actually been looking forward to spend quality time with her daughter and her son in law. So she's like, oh, this is a good idea. But while she is at her daughter's home, while they're living in the same home, she starts to notice that she doesn't actually like it. She misses being in her own environment because she suddenly becomes aware that she loves being in control of her environment, getting up when she wants. And even if she used to enjoy visiting before, she's now become more aware this is not the same thing. This is probably going to be an ongoing thing. This is not just like when you're visiting. She's now become more aware that she is not contributing as much as she used to. And that brings some sadness for her, as she recognizes maybe she doesn't even have a lot to contribute to the family or to her children's lives, regardless that they are older adults and all that. That's, that's just in our own mind. Every person thinks differently, and every person is free to think how they choose and how they feel. We can't tell somebody, oh, you're not allowed to feel like that, oh, don't think it like that. I think about the good. Every person has to go through their own transformation. Yes, this is very important to understand. And this is going to make sense the more we continue speaking why it helps to get the right skill set, the right knowledge, the right support. Otherwise, you'll be struggling by yourself as an adult child, and it can affect your relationship with your parents in a negative way because you are too close to each other and you're too emotionally involved. So anyhow, let's go back to this young lady. I'm not mentioning any names here. I'm just giving a scenario, just giving an example. So while she's visiting with her daughter, she also has some issue that's going on, and they have to take her into hospital. And while she's in hospital, her condition starts to deteriorate, and the doctors decide to implement different types of medication. And there's so many things going on, and the whole family is still trying to adjust because they've seen that their mom was slowly going downhill. But as it is in life, right? It can be hard to accept something has changed. You almost feel like, let's try keep things as they were. But this is the nature of life. We all know this until it's happening to you. I've had the same scenario in my own life. When I first realized my late father was not too well, and I was across the world in another continent, in another country. At first, it was just like, because I had these dreams and hopes and things I would want to do with him, like take him around Europe. I'd like to take him to Germany. I'd like to take him to Switzerland and Italy. He can see the UK, but we can go all around the world. We can go to the United States. I want him to see what I've experienced, and just to appreciate the effort that he made to leave his own familiar little village where he grew up and just start exploring the world. So I did get that from my father, this sense of adventure, traveling, exploring. It's something I'm really grateful for. So I felt like it was my turn to give back. I didn't feel like it was an obligation, not at all, not by any means. I didn't feel like there was pressure for me to do that. It was just, it's a nice thing to do, right? So when I heard that he's not feeling well and he's been complaining of this, that, and the other different symptoms, at first, you kind of just brush it off like, oh, maybe it's not a big deal. And working in healthcare, my life was already so busy as it is. I didn't really have time to reflect about that. But when it came to a head, when we all became aware as a family, our father may not make it. Our father is going downhill. Our parent, he was the rock of the family. He was the one who, every parent is not perfect, but your parent is perfect to you, right? It was, it was not easy to accept. But anyway, eventually, and I'm grateful that I did manage to visit him and spend some quality time with him, because I also had my own children living in another country. You can imagine all the dynamics and the complexities around that. And I had other things that were going on within the family when I was growing up that we didn't see eye to eye, and I was trying to fix that. And there were so many emotional things that I felt were unresolved. Anyway, I'm sharing all this to help somebody. I'm not giving a lot of details, but I want somebody to understand that while you have time with your parents, do the right thing by your parents. And I know in the Western culture, we are so busy. We're trying to, make life work. The cost of living is high. The rents are high. The mortgage is high. The travel is expensive. So we haven't got time to spend with our aging parents. And I can completely understand. So I want to help you on this video how to start planning for your parents now, because remember, even for you at some point, maybe in the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you will be in the same scenario. So you want to start sowing seeds into the future. I like to say this is from a faith-based kind of mindset. It's in the good book. Some of you might say it's in the Bible. That when you support your parents, what you do for somebody else, even if it's not your parents, it will also happen for you. It's like sowing into your future. Yes, no guilt tripping, not anything. Just think of it like investing in your own future. Yes, because whatever you do now will show up in your future. Anyhow, so going back now to the story of the young lady, while she was in hospital, things just got worse. And when I first met her, I was appalled. And I'm not saying every place is like that, but I was appalled that this lady didn't get the best treatment. And yes, as an immigrant, I could easily say, but this is our country, this is our home. That's not it. Life is life. It's got to do with the skill set of the people who are working in that department where she ended up, and management and leadership and all sorts of negative things. So anyway, I'm saying this to say it is good to rely on our NHS. And during the pandemic, or this clap for the nurses, let's say the NHS, there was a lot of discussions going on around that. I may have missed some of these podcasts or discussions, but there were so many topics that were overlooked and dismissed. And I now like to call myself as a health advocate, as a family advocate, as a health coach. Because in my training, in my nursing training, we were trained that prevention is better than cure. It is cheaper to prevent long-term illness and disease than to treat that illness or disease. It is really expensive. Believe me when I say I have been in so many different scenarios, working in 3 different countries. It is really expensive. And I'm not talking about monetary, not in a financial sense. I'm talking about the emotional toll on you when you are supporting somebody who is dealing with a long-term illness. You can also start to age before your time. You understand that, right? And I was doing a live stream once on TikTok, and somebody commented in the comment section and said, there's been a study that's been done. I need to check that. Don't quote me on that yet. I need to check on that. And when I find it, I can add it to this video, so you can also do your own research. I like to empower people, because when you are armed with the right knowledge and you are able to make an appropriate conclusion, this is critical thinking, right? All knowledge is not good knowledge, but if you can bring different pieces of ideas and information and knowledge from different experts and people who work on the ground and people who work with patients and the elderly, then you can make an informed decision that is not emotionally driven. Does that make sense? Right? Okay, we'll talk about that anyhow, in this particular study, apparently people who support their family or elderly relatives being in a caregiving role, I don't want to alarm you, this is to forewarn you, to prepare you, and so you can make some adjustments. People who are in a caregiving role, and that can be in different setups, by the way, are more likely to end up with dementia, memory loss. That will be a topic for another day. I could probably do another video on this, but I'll send you the studies and the information towards this, because this will make you think, ooh. And I'll say to you, even for me personally, right, having worked in healthcare, I don't work in nursing anymore. I don't do it full time. I now work as a health coach, advocate, business coach, holistic business coach. I help people build their personal brand so that you can live life on your terms, so that you can do life on your terms, to create your life by design. For those of you and those of us that are willing to make the transition, because we understand if we don't make any changes now, it may come to a point where it's too late to make a change. And of course, now with social media and the internet and digital marketing, you can be in your 80s and doing digital marketing. You can absolutely do digital marketing in your 80s. You can start promoting businesses, products, other people's products. There are so many things using digital marketing. You can be here on YouTube. You can start your own YouTube channel. And if you need any help with that, you need to grow in confidence, you need some skill sets with that, I can help you get on the journey. Yes, let's get you on the journey. Some of us, we are approaching retirement and we don't have enough money saved. You have to start thinking about these things because, when we don't plan ahead of time, it doesn't change by itself. It doesn't change by itself until we take decisive action. So, anyhow, going back to that study, if you are in a caregiving role and you self neglect because of the nature of the work that you do, the chances of you developing dementia in later life are higher than somebody who balances caregiving and self care. Yes, so I am not advocating or postulating or saying you must just make sure you're taking care of your parents or neglect your parents either way. I'm not talking about any extreme. You can do both if you want, or you can do a little bit. So we'll talk about that as well. Anyhow, so going back to that, in my own scenario, I recognize that I was raising a family, supporting a family, and also supporting patients. So my whole life felt like I'm just around being a caregiver. And you can imagine that had its own toll on me because I started recognizing I was feeling unfulfilled and I was feeling like I'm just a workhorse. And I knew there's more to life than that. In fact, I remember one night shift. I was working in the intensive care department at that stage. By the way, those of you who want to get into nursing or you want to switch careers, it is an amazing career. I've got a program that I've already started working on. If you want to transition into healthcare, which is you will always have work, you will never be broke another day in your life, you will always know how to make money, you can get into healthcare. And there are smart ways of doing it. Not maybe the negative side that you see. There are smart ways of doing it so you can protect yourself from burnout. I can help you with that. We can do the coaching and we can, you can do the support, or you can even do a home study program so you can prepare yourself to go to university or to go back to school, whatever you want. Or maybe you want to go into medicine, you can start preparing yourself how to start, how to get into healthcare. Okay, the mindset that you need, what it means to work with patients, the basics you need to understand. So there's a lot of opportunity. You will never worry about money if you get into healthcare. You will never worry about being broke. I kid you not. In fact, you may be in a corporate job right now, right, and you're making good money, but you don't feel fulfilled. The words won't come out. You can get into healthcare. It is such a rewarding role when you do it the right way. Okay, when you do it the right way. So some of you, if you're dealing with stress and burnout and you're just like, I don't know what to do, and you feel like your life is going downhill because you've been working so hard, so many people leave the healthcare profession because of lack of support. And I can understand that so well because I've been there. Reach out. Let's work on your strategy because you don't just want to feel overwhelmed without a plan. You want an action plan. If you have an action plan in place, you can transition into your own thing. And when you know you've got something better that you're working on, suddenly you will stop feeling overwhelmed. You'll stop feeling like you're trapped. You can escape what I like to call corporate conditioning. I didn't even know it was a thing. As I did more research, I was like, that is true. Corporate conditioning is a real thing. Yes. Anyhow, so you can get some support on that. You can do your own home study program, or we can do Zoom calls. You can be part of the coaching team. We do a weekly session. You can prepare to go into healthcare. It is an amazing career if you do it right. You can travel the world. You can live in so many different countries. Ooh, it is amazing. So anyhow, so going back to supporting your family members, your parents, or a friend that you know, I want you to understand something. There is something to be said about helping somebody else who is feeling vulnerable. And I'm going to slow down on here. Because our lives are so busy, it can be hard to support somebody who is vulnerable. And then when you're supporting them, you may even start feeling guilt, like, am I doing enough? Is it enough that I'm doing? So what I want to say is make a plan, even with the guidance that I'm giving you. Okay, what do I really want to do? How can I support my relative without abandoning my own life, without feeling guilt. How can I support them effectively? Where I'm at with the budget that we have. It is something that you can think about. Because on the next video I'll do, we're going to look at the different things you need to start looking at to make sure you make the transition really helpful for you. I hope this is making sense. And it is just going to be the most rewarding thing because I've worked with so many different families, and I did this like for um, almost 8 years while I was building my digital marketing business and my own personal brand. It is something that I always did. And it's something that even now, doing the coaching now, I do more coaching now than being on the ground with families. And if there's a need, we can make a plan. It's a whole amazing, beautiful package because I want you to have peace of mind that you can make this work. It doesn't have to be stressful. You can make sure that it works for you. Okay, you have to look at the resources that you have, the time that you have, because some of you may want to look after your parents full time and become a full time caregiver. It may not be as glamorous as it looks. You may end up being in a cycle of negativity, feeling depressed, the lack of support. There is a better way to do it. I really hope you hear me out. And please share this video with somebody because I'm going to do another video soon. And I'm going to talk about the different things that you need to start putting in place before you even take on supporting your parents full time, because it's not an easy thing to do. Or should you just take them to a nursing home? Or should you find a live-in caregiver? There are many different options available. Okay, you must just decide to make it work for you. I hope this is helpful to you and has sparked your interest. Like, oh, okay, what can I do for my parents? Because you don't want to stay in the negative feeling like life. It's just there are different things that you can do. When you are well informed, you can make the decision that is right for your family. So I hope to see you on the next video. Listen, if you have any questions, comment below, ask me. Let's talk about it. This is really helpful for the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia. This is really helpful. Even Singapore, Asian countries, different cultural backgrounds. Aging and care and support is similar, whatever our cultural backgrounds are. So listen, leave me a comment. And if you are serious and you are business minded, you want to probably get into domiciliary care, or you want to do different aspects of healthcare, or you want to get into nursing, you want to get into medicine, and you want to understand the healthcare industry, how to navigate, how to be your own advocate, get in touch with me and I'll speak to you on the next video. Bye for now.